Ibidunni, it is too tough to say goodbye. Good morning, Uncle Dele. Message I have for you and Pastor Ituah is that Ibidun has finished what God sent her to come and do on earth, and she had to leave. She was an angel that God sent to come and sort Pastor Ituah out when he needed help. Those children needed help to have a good life and their destiny through the Ighodalos. And if Ibidun had not come into his life, they wouldn't have the opportunity. Pastor Ituah urgently needed an angel at a time. Her job had been done, says the Lord. She knew it was time for her to go, and that was why she did all the videos and posted before she left. The Lord says Pastor will be fine and that he should not mourn. Fellow Nigerians, I received those chilling words from Pastor Mrs. Nike Adeshaki Olayinka, a good friend of my wife who lives in London. When I first read the message, I was so shocked to the marrow, stunned and stupefied, wondering how to respond. I had to actually put a call to her, and we discussed the tragic news at length. Whether you believe in spirituality or not, Nike's words resonated with me. Ever since the news broke on Sunday, June 14, 2020, that Ibidun, leading and superlative event planner, renowned public and street decorator, famous for the creative and remarkable Christmas decorations around Lagos, and wife of the highly revered Pastor Ituah Ighodalo, has passed on the same date my own father died in 1973. I have been ruminating and combing through my many encounters with Ibidun in about 20 years. My conclusion was that Pastor Mrs. Dele Adeshaki was most probably right. Ibidun had run a race as ordained by God and had gone to be with her Lord, which she had worshipped and loved most exceedingly. If you knew Ibidun, even just casually, it is impossible not to have noticed the special grace of God in her life. I first met her as Miss Lost Beauty Queen. She was not Miss Nigeria. She did not win the most beautiful girl in the Nigerian pageant. Yet, her reign combined and possibly eclipsed both beauty titles in content and stature. Her great courage, poise, composure, and charisma were cherubic and angelic. In just 1 year as Miss Lux, she mesmerized and hypnotized an entire nation with natural but grateful exterior and internal purity, which she combined perfectly and superbly with sharp intellect and wit. From that moment, her trajectory would be on the rise, and she would fly skywards at supersonic speed, reaching for the skies and indeed touching them before what we on earth we call her untimely demise. Ibidun was a perfectionist who obviously possessed the Midas touch. Everything she touched blossomed. She never stood still, always more than a cut above the rest. Her company, Elizabeth R., brought fresh panache to the business of events, entertainment and street decorations. Her attention to detail was phenomenal, her taste was impeccable, and her elegance was sartorial. She breathed new and fresh life into everything she touched. She was a lady of ideas and savoir, who would always calm you down and take away your pressure with reassuring words and radiant smiles. Egbomi, please trust me, Emma worry, was always a favorite saying that melted the hearts of panicky people like me, and even our most cantankerous clients. To her, humility and respect were second nature. as one would expect from the probably foremost leader in her industry. Ibidu's service did not come cheap because she gave you the best, not only in terms of products, but also in terms of professionalism and above herself. And if ever you told Ibidun her charges were on the high side, she wouldn't take offenses, but take time to explain why her services were different from that of others and commanded such significant sums as fee. Upon listening to her deliver her homily in her sweet voice and with a lovely exquisite mien, you will be overwhelmed and overpowered and be prepared to pay even more, although your pulse would groan at the impending assault and decimation of its size. Ibidun never stopped showering me with sisterly love. It got so much at a stage that I started running away from doing businesses with her, because what she offered to do was much more than I could ever pay back. I often panicked on her behalf and was forever thinking if she won't go bankrupt by giving too much in a generally thankless society. However, Ibidun couldn't be bothered by such miserly thoughts and consideration. She simply wanted the best and planned for the best. Please, permit me to give a few choice instances. The first is when my mother died in May 2007. She was to be buried in July 2007. I had called Ibidun, first to inform her that I had lost my amazing mother, who, though unlettered, struggled so much to send me to school. Ibidun instantly demonstrated her empathy and promised to plan a befitting burial for our mother. Ibidun was such an epitome of love and compassion. As far as she was concerned, my mom had automatically become ours. She went straight into action, and although I kept asking for a budget, she would simply wave it aside with a shrug. She enjoyed speaking a combination of Yoruba and English languages that I found melodiously sweet. Ani kò sí problem ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, and I would respond that awọ ló má tẹ̀, ìwọ̀n ara ẹ̀ ló mọ̀. The only way for a man to escape being disgraced is by respecting himself, and she would have a good laugh. Ibidun got to know my secret through my wife, Mobolaji, that I panic easily once I see fat bills, but we got on well, nevertheless. About 2 days to my mom's funeral, Ibidun came with the elusive invoice I have been pestering her for, and broke out in sweat instantly. Have I not climbed my trees beyond the leaves at this rate? I soliloquized. So, I quickly scanned the items and actually realized Ibidun had been more than generous. But how will I get to pay this? Ibidun had faith, and that was her answer and attitude to such bills. Let me tell you, that faith paid off big time in my own case, as I am sure in the case of many others. Please, believe this incredible testimony. I remember precisely that I was having a meeting with my committee of friends at Planet One Hotel in Maryland, Lagos on that fateful day. That very minute, the spirit of Africa, Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr. struck. In his characteristics and unexpected and unusual manner, via Bode Opesheiton, who I instantly nicknamed Angel Gabriel, being the harbinger of good news. Unknown to chairman, the pending bill, which had been giving me chills, evaporated. When I informed Ibidun about the miraculous intervention from my guardian angel, she said, "Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, ẹ̀yin ni, Ọlọ́run kò ní jẹ́ kí ẹ mọ iyì ara yín o. My big brother, don't you know who you are? May God never let you even know, because others know." I loved the way she spoke her Yoruba mellifluously. Learned that she grew up in Ibadan. the former headquarters of Yoruba warlords and high-jinks politics, but also the home and assembly of great poets and orators. Few months later, in December 2007, the Ovation Red Carol was betted at the Eco Hotel Ocean View Marquee. The event, which has endured to this day, was designed by Leke Alda of Alda Consulting, a prodigiously gifted man. I gave the moniker of Professor Socrates for his Grecian brains. The event was instantly grabbed by the genius at UBA, Dr. Tony Elumelu, for sponsorship because he immediately recognized the potential. I didn't have to think twice before I gave Ibidun the business of event planner, and she did such a magnificent job of it. Elumelu was so thrilled that he approved the next year's event in the hall before we even brought the show to a close. Ibidun continued to work stronger and stronger in our industry, and I always wondered how she gave so much consideration to others above her own interest. We became extremely close. In depth, I now know she was virtually close to most people because that was the kind of soul she was. From the deluge of tributes, it is obvious she made all of us feel like the closest, and I wonder the skills that made that possible. Let me fast forward, please. My 50th birthday soon came in May 2010. By then, Ibidun had grown into an octopus in her trade, and I truly panicked about approaching her to plan and organize the event. I remembered my mom's favorite saying, "How Walumate." I knew Ibidun was no longer within my sphere of affordability. It was therefore something of an ambience for me. But this loving angel probably read and saw my mind as plainly as daylight. Before I could decide whether to call her or not, she appeared from the blues and asked again, "Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi àtàtà, báwo ni a ṣe ń ṣe birthday yín? My big dearest brother, how are we celebrating your birthday?" I knew I was already trapped and pinned down by that rhetorical question, and I began stammering. Before I could find the appropriate response, Ibidunni helped me out. "Ẹ jọ̀wọ́, ẹ ní kí àǹtí pè mí ká jọ plan everything. Please let your wife call me so that we can knock the plans together." So, I told my wife, Mobolaji, to reach out to Ibidun. You won't believe what happened. Ibidun connived with my wife and told her not to tell me that she won't accept a dime for the job. There I was, already perspiring in advance about the potential damage to my pocket. In fact, Ibidun went beyond my usually fertile imagination by unleashing a plethora of special effects on the venue. It was a masterstroke and showpiece event that will live forever in my memory, an immortal gift that I cannot now ever pay. The ambience was heavenly and paradisiacal. You know that paradox of loving what you are not sure you can afford? That was exactly it. Again, she knew my thoughts even before I could voice them. "Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi àtàtà, this job is my gift to you on your birthday, sir." "What?" I exclaimed. I was deeply touched and my heart truly prayed for her. Ibidun's heart was definitely golden. She had the portion of it ready to give anyone privileged to meet her. She often regaled me with how she believed that Ovation International had turned her into a superstar. But she was a superstar as destined by God. We merely became one of the willing tools that God used to propel and propagate our gospel. We were only doing our job. My interactions with Ibidun would fill up a whole notebook. Our most recent encounter was when she sent a WhatsApp message to inform me about her latest venture. I knew she was a lady of many trades and master of all. She was building COVID-19 isolation centers around the country, and she wanted me to ask Iyadura Reverend Mother Abimbola Esther Ajayi, could sponsor and build one for Lagos State. I told her Mama was building one of the most magnificent temples of God in Victoria Island, Lagos. Ibidun immediately told me she had seen the monumental edifice next to the Trinity House, Pastor Ituah's church, and that it was beautiful. I explained that Mama was concentrating all her energy on that endeavor and might not be able to donate an isolation center at this time. As was her character, she understood immediately. Ibidun was extra special, selfless, and passionately devoted to the cause of happiness for others. She was an inspiration in her desire to make others happy. She had apparently planned that her 40th birthday, which would have taken place on 19 July 2020, would be celebrated without a party of any kind, but with the gift of parenthood for 40 indigent families. What a truly gifted and generous soul. I saw so much feverish activities on Ibidun's Instagram account in the last few weeks. She was always in a playful and boisterous mood around her husband. I was going to call her last Saturday when I saw an unusual post of her in which she had a traveling bag without her usual smile. But I got distracted to ask where she was off to, and that was it. Incidentally, she has just visited her father's burial site in Ibadan, ostensibly to let him know they would soon be meeting to part no more. We never spoke or chatted again. She went on that trip to Portharcourt and never returned. The pain is just too hard to bear. Mrs. Ibidunni Ighodalo, Ni Ajayi, was buried on Saturday, June 20th, 2020, survived by her widower, Pastor Ituah Ighodalo, two lovely children, Kiki and Zinan, her mom, Mrs. Monilola Ajayi, and siblings, as well as a whole army of loyal and dedicated friends, known and unknown. May her soul rest in perfect peace.
Was a beautiful woman. She acted like a woman who came from a place no one would know. She's very strong and she feels everyone's pain. And she knows the way everybody goes through when they are not very happy, and she helps them. She does all she can do, and she's like someone I don't know. She's been a great mother to me, and I've never had such a woman like this. Thank you.
Àpáta ayérayé, àwọn ni má gbẹ̀jẹ̀ àdúgbò lẹ́yìn ẹ̀mí mímọ́. Òkìkí ayé, òkìkí ọ̀run, olórí àwọn áńgẹ́lì alágbára ni. Agbanilágbàtàn, àpálá tó sólé ayéró. Olórúkọ àpètàkìjì, ọlọ́run mẹ́ta lọ́kan. Orísun gbogbo agbára, ẹlẹ́jẹ̀ pẹ̀ṣẹ̀rẹ́, mọ̀nàmọ́ná tí ṣojú ọ̀nà yẹ́rìyẹ́rì. Ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọlájò owó lè dánmọ́. Ọba ikú, ọba ìṣà àti àìdíbàjẹ́, àrígbàmú òjìji olódùmarè. Kábíyèsí o, olólùwàjì ìṣèfínní, àbàrà jìgìjàgùn, arẹwà lóde ọ̀run ni, àkọ́bí nínú àwọn òkú, arógun mátìdí, arógun màmá ṣojo, bọ̀rọ̀kọ̀tọ̀ bí ọká, àbètìlúkàrà bí àjèrè, olóore ọ̀fẹ́. Àrínúròde ni aláṣepé ìgbàgbọ́, gàgàrà tó milẹ̀ tó mókè, ibi òkìkí abara kìkì yín, ọ̀rọ̀ gbénú ènìyàn fọ̀hún, ìràwọ̀ òwúrọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ ọmọ Mary, olómiyè ni, onítẹ̀ ògo ni, ọba tí kò lábàwọ́n kankan, àtúnibí àtúnidá, àtayédá àtayéṣe, elétí ìgbóhùngbàròyé, kábíyèsí. Màsún olùfẹ́ kó sì má sinmi. Gbé orí rẹ̀ lé àyà ẹni tó fẹ́ ọ jù wá lọ. Àwa fẹ́ ọ ṣùgbọ́n ẹnìkan ń bẹ tó fẹ́ ọ jù. Sùnre o, Ibidunni, sùnre.
If I had 10,000 songs, it still won't be enough. If I had 10,000 songs, it still won't be enough. What shall I render to Jehovah? For He has done so very much for me. What shall